Hello?
Hello, this is the callback you scheduled with Apple support. If you're ready to speak to an advisor, press 1. To reschedule this call for another time, press 2. If you change your mind, to cancel the call, press 3. Calls are recorded for quality and training. If you prefer not to be recorded, press 1. Thank you for contacting. Good morning. Thank you for contacting Apple. My name is David. Can I start by getting your first name, please?
Hey, David. Good morning. It is Sita, S-I-T-A. Last name Keith.
Hi, how can I help you?
All right. Can we screen share? Oh, actually, maybe I should give you my case number. 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second. So it is 101 753 918 308.
Got it. Okay. We're working with a MacBook Air and screen time. Is that right?
Yeah. So let's screen share for a bit, and let's screen share, and I'll give you a summary of what's going on. Okay. So I should be signed in with my Apple ID this time. So go ahead and send me the whatever you need to send me.
And is this the first off, Sita? Is this your computer?
Yes, it is, but the Apple ID is 0lukedalabana@gmail.com. That's the one I chose to use.
Okay. So I was just looking at the notes because it looks like this has been an ongoing case.
That's right. That's right.
Let me send you the request here.
Just 1 second. Are you viewing my screen?
I am, yep, it just popped up.
Okay, so you can see my screen right now. All right, so hold on, let me close this here and bring it back up again. I'm going to categories, and other is not in here as yet. Now, when I screen share, other should kick in. Other is screen sharing, but other has not kicked in as yet. So screen time does not record or document when the screen is being shared. Okay? See that? It's not there. Other is not there.
Okay. I mean, we've been screen sharing for only a few seconds, so it
That's
might
okay.
not show up for a moment.
Yeah, I get it. But I've been documenting this for a long time, so I know what I'm talking about. There it is. Okay? So we'll check again on it. So here's what I want to contact you about. I spoke to Solomon, who was my previous senior advisor. I emailed him on August the 23rd. He has not responded, which is rather annoying because he's not responding. So let me go to my email, if that's all right with you, David. Right? It's David, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to go to... So here I am. So I'm going to quickly show you my chat with Solomon. So I showed him that pickup screen time. There's 47 pickups, but I did not pick up my Mac 47 times. Sometimes it shows over 100 pickups, and I did not pick up my Mac. Okay. Now, in screen time, this screenshot was taken on August 17. I'm gonna go here, and on August 17, this entire communication limit was missing from my... I didn't even know there was... You disconnected. David?
Hi, disconnecting?
I don't know. Something came up. Can you still see my screen?
I didn't quit, but hold on, it looks like it might have been frozen. Let me just end it and send another request. That happens sometimes.
All right, because at my end it says you disconnected.
Gotcha, yeah. No, I just sent another request. It should pop up in a second.
Okay.
The request doesn't want to go through. Let me... Doesn't seem to want to make that connection. Are you still able to get online, go to a website or anything, or...
It doesn't want to connect. Well, this is what happens constantly. Messages doesn't work. Nothing works. I mean, so now you cannot connect. Let's do ARA if that's all right with you. Okay?
Sure.
All right. Let's do that.
Yeah. Just let me know when you're ready for the session key.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to load. And it's not loading. The page it's not loading.
Are any websites loading?
I don't know, but the ARA certainly is not loading. I'm looking at it right now. It's not loading.
Okay.
Can you try?
You can open up another tab. Just go to Google or Apple.com or something.
I close it. Okay, I'll open another one. ARA. No. This is what happens every single day. Web pages will not load. And things will not work. And you cannot, can you try again with the Apple ID?
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Okay. So it says you're viewing my screen now?
Yeah, just pop back up.
Fantastic. All right. Good. So here's what I was showing you. Oh, look, other now kicked in for 6 seconds. Okay, here we are, 6 seconds. Every time screen sharing, this Mac is screen sharing, that's when other kicks in. So it says 6 seconds now. Anyways, here's what I was showing you. This is what I sent to Solomon. My Mac says it's been picked up 47 times. Okay, one of many, many screenshots, right? But it will only disclose 3, right? Now, I never knew this is right now. This is live. This is a screenshot. This one, I did not know that there was a category called communications limit. I had no idea. Speaking to senior advisor for a long time, nobody caught it. It is not in the screenshot on August the 17th. See? The whole category was missing. Okay? It just recently showed up. Communications limit. The entire category was missing. No one caught it. I never knew it existed. Okay? That's one. And not only that, this is what happens in everything on this Mac. Entire categories are missing, buttons are missing, okay, which has already been documented. Okay, so this is one. So I said to Solomon, look, Apple sent out, they put out a press release that that their devices are hacked, and I wanted to know how I could tell that my device is hacked because I have no control of it. Sharing D is constant, it's everywhere all the time without Wi-Fi. This here in extensions, these are all grayed out. So let me bring it up now and show you in real time. These extensions, share menu, I cannot undo them. I cannot undo anything on this Mac. See? I'm clicking on it right now. They cannot be undone. All right. I also sent him this screenshot where it says all activities are volatile and extensions are all remote. Okay, I just showed you extensions here, cannot be undone. And then I'm showing you extensions here that are all remote. So let me carry on. Okay, is that all right with you, or do you have a question for me?
Another question,
Shoot.
but I would like to touch on a couple of things before you move on.
Shoot.
That the sharing D process is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's meant to be there. There's a handful of things that it touches on, but the fact that it's running is fine. It doesn't indicate anything nefarious. Additionally, as far as the extensions go, when things like mail messages, AirDrop, and iCloud sharing, those things are grayed out on everybody's system, not just yours. That's expected behavior. So again, doesn't indicate anything nefarious.
Hold on. So thank you for that, because Solomon could have responded and said it's expected behavior, but he didn't respond to my email. So you're telling me this being grayed out is expected behavior, all four.
Yep, that's same thing on. I've got 3 different machines sitting right here, and it's the same thing on all 3 of them.
Okay. Thank you for that, David. One problem down. Okay, so solved. So here's a generalist question that I want to ask you. Since Apple sent out that release that their devices are compromised, they're hacked, how does one tell if their device is hacked?
So we sent that out saying that there was a possibility that a device could have been hacked. However, Apple's general handling of that, anytime we discover any type of security bug, is that we don't disclose that there has been the discovery of a bug until we've patched it. And so your machine, being on 12.5.1, the latest one, already has the patch. Then, as far as indicating whether or not your machine was impacted, we haven't been given any type of information to say exactly what to look for in that circumstance. But if you're up to date, then I would imagine that anything that could have happened in the past cannot happen now because you've already updated.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's something we didn't give. To be honest with you, that press release, because I read all that stuff as well when it happened. Aside from saying that it was possible, and information given to even us as technical advisors, we didn't get any type of extra or additional information saying to look for certain things to indicate that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we've always done it. I mean, I've been here for quite a while, so we've never, at least as far as tech support's concerned, within AppleCare, haven't been given anything to look for specifically. Obviously, if you're seeing something that you want us to investigate, we will, but I don't have any, like, let's look for X, Y, and Z to indicate if that was a problem. I don't have anything like that.
All right. Thank you. So what you're saying, and let me see if I understand this properly. You're saying when Apple put out that press release, they're saying it's a possibility, and they did not tell anyone what to look for if in the event they're hacked. They haven't told anyone like, here, this is XYZ is what we're looking for, or what could confirm a hack. Yes?
Correct. I mean, most of the time when we have issued statements like that in the past, it's important to note that the hacking never happens indirectly or randomly. Most of the time, someone would need to have singled you out and said, I want access to this person's computer. Additionally, most of the time that we've released statements like this in the last few years, someone has needed to have like physical access to your computer to actually implement anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not sure that that was the case with this particular most recent release, but that's been true, I know, with a lot of the USB stuff, is that like someone has to physically have your computer to actually do anything to it.
All right.
But there's not, in this case, there's not really a way that you would have like visited a website that just randomly would have infected your computer. Like someone would have had to single you out and say, I need access to this computer, and done something, which unless you're, harboring state secrets or, something like that, probably not.
Well, who knows, David? Who knows? Maybe I do have some sort of secret, right? But thank you for that. Bottom line is, it's not possible to be hacked. The patch should have fixed it. Yes.
Correct.
That's
yes.
what you're telling me. Okay. So let me carry on with my story now. Okay. So before I show you the rest of this here, I am going to go there and ignore the mess on my screen.
That's fine. I've seen much worse. All good.
Thank you. Okay, so where is it? So when the patch showed up, I tried it was disclosed on Friday, the 19th, I think, right? So I tried to download it, right? So it says, my Mac tells me it will not install it says right here, right? Could not be installed. It will not update. Okay, it will not update the patch. So there. So I tried many times. I want to install. I click on install now for the 12.5.1, and then I took lots of screenshots, and then I go here, and then look here at 8:12:10 it says update now, right? Normal, right? But 1 second later it says restart now. It didn't download a single thing. It didn't download anything, and I recorded it. Okay, so that there's 8:12:10.
Okay, yeah.
8:12:11 it tells me to restart. There was no downloading of anything. Nothing downloaded. Okay, and then it just go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
That might also be expected.
Okay.
When we added software update directly to system preferences, in the last couple of years, the Mac has the option, if there's available free space, to download the update in the background, and that way when you click update now, it is ready to update and doesn't have to download anything. So if it had already done that in the background and was waiting for you to do the update, then it might have already been there.
Okay, but I'm already telling you. I'm telling you, at 8:10, it's telling me to update now, right? So it did not update in the background. It says that's what's available to update. Hold on.
So it doesn't do the update in the background. It just downloads it. It just says. It just downloads the update in the background and then waits for you to tell it when to update, since a restart's required.
All right. Okay. I didn't see it update anything, but I'll take your word for it. But I'll let that one go. Okay, so that was.
Sure. Yep. I mean, I'm looking at it with you, and I'm not super worried. So.
Thank you for that. So that was on August the 21st. That was the download date because then it just restarted. Okay, so August 21st, all done.
Got it.
Good. August 21st, all done. So this is August 22nd. This is August the 23rd when I spoke to Solomon, right? He called me. He said engineering has not provided any update. Fine. We talked that day. So on August the 23rd, that afternoon, I sent him an email. Ignore that email. I found this. I asked him what would confirm a hack, and he said anything that says custom and proxy. So I found this custom and proxy, right? Custom web proxy. Okay, and I sent that to him. It says localhost and all of these custom and proxy. Okay, send that to him for his consideration because he said custom and proxy are the things that will confirm a hack. So I also told him that here is screen time. I do not use iCloud at all. I do not use iCloud. Actually, I don't even sign into my Apple ID. I just did this because I was having similar problems that we had today in connecting with you. So I'll go here,
Okay.
screen time, and I'll go to app limit, and I go here, and it tells me iCloud for screen time, but I do not use iCloud, but it shows many hours. Here it shows nearly 11 hours of iCloud screen time, but I never use iCloud. Your thoughts on that?
So as far as it's saying, app limits apply to all devices that are using iCloud for screen time. It's simply, I mean, everybody's Mac says that. That's the way that it's phrased in the system.
Sure.
It's mostly there to describe when parents set up for their kids app limits, and so they can, if I had a kid, I could say, my kid can only be on Safari for 30 minutes, and so I can do that from my phone to their device over iCloud. But since you don't have iCloud enabled, then that's not an option because it has no way to communicate that, and you're not part of a family sharing or anything like that. So it's a descriptor, but that function doesn't exist for you because you're not signed in to an account that has that set up.
Correct. So I don't use iCloud, but still, it's showing all this usage here, I'm guessing, and you correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll go to all this usage here has to do with iCloud. Only iCloud.
No, this is local.
This is local usage.
Yes, correct.
It has nothing to do with iCloud.
Correct. That's only if you had app limits set up from another account.
All right. You see, David.
But as far as the usage that's showing up in system preferences, that's going to be local because of how. Yes.
But local, David, is right here. This tells me local. This is me, local. Okay?
So then what you're seeing on the right is also local, but it's showing you that if you had checked those boxes, then it could have been synced with iCloud.
Okay, so let's go there right now, because I never check any of those boxes.
Right,
See?
so they're still unchecked, but if you wanted to sync that usage with iCloud, I think mostly this is going to be used with like kids or parents who need to monitor what their children are doing. You could sync certain categories, and so the purpose of that is, like, let's say a kid has a Mac and an iPhone, and so what you're doing is saying we want to limit their social media usage across their devices, and if you checked that, then it would sync social media use from the Mac to the iPhone and vice versa, so that they couldn't try to get around it by using one device or the other.
All right. So the thing is,
but none of those are checked, so nothing is syncing.
Okay, that's what you're saying. Nothing is syncing. But this...
Correct. That, as of right now, for app limits, yes.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to argue the point. For me, it's clear. It says it has to do with iCloud. I should be the only user on this Mac. Okay, it says it has to do with iCloud. Okay, and I know you're explaining the purpose of app limit and for people with children, but that's another story for someone else. For me, no children, I'm by myself. It should not. My thought is it should not show all this usage for iCloud or any syncing, since I'm the only user on the Mac.
And right now, since none of that is checked off, that is how it's working.
Even though it says it has to do with iCloud.
Yes, you're not actually syncing anything with iCloud. It's just telling you that if you checked it off, it would go to iCloud.
Okay. And any thoughts on why this category was missing in the beginning? We didn't talk about that one.
That'll be a little bit harder for me to address just because it's there now, and so since it's working as expected now, that's not something that I would be able to investigate.
Right.
I'm not sure why it wasn't showing up, but it would be hard for me to figure that out after the fact.
All right, because everyone ignored it. I sent it to Solomon. I've tried my best for an explanation. No one had a clue.
Sure.
Anyways, here we are again.
Yeah, it should be there. I'm not sure why it wasn't, but yeah, it would be hard for me to give you an answer just after the fact like that.
Of course. Okay, so here I have no Wi-Fi turned off, but Wi-Fi is a constant active process on the Mac. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, also normal. If Wi-Fi is disabled, there's not going to be any actual connection, but because Wi-Fi hardware is installed, then the Wi-Fi process is going to be there in case you turn it back on. Yeah, normal, not worried about it.
I am worried about it because when I join Wi-Fi, I see this as a normal expected behavior. I'm concerned that when I turn it off, this is active processes. It should not be active when I turn it off. Now, not only that...
There's a difference between having an active Wi-Fi connection and the Wi-Fi process running on the computer.
Okay.
In the screenshot that you're showing me, you do not have Wi-Fi is disabled. It's not connected to a network, and it's not broadcasting outwardly to look for a network. But the Wi-Fi process is still going to be there. Basically, some of these things run constantly when the computer is running, so that way when and if you turn Wi-Fi back on, it doesn't need to start it. It's already there, ready to go for speed. And that's just how it's built to work. So, again, what I'm seeing is expected, and I'm not alarmed by it.
Great, thank you. So I turn Wi-Fi off, and when I see Wi-Fi as an active process, you're telling me that's expected behavior. Now, you're also telling... Okay.
What you can see is that there's no bytes actually being transmitted, and so there's no active network connection. There's nothing for it to do. It's basically just waiting there in case you turn it back on.
Of course. And so if I turn Bluetooth off, Bluetooth should be an active process here as well?
I'm not sure. That's not a universal thing. So I don't know whether, I'm looking at the list. Bluetooth might actually turn itself off. I'm not sure. I've not had to look at it extensively.
Okay, so I will tell you that things that I turn off, such as family should not be engaged, but it's an active process. I already have lots of screenshots. I'm not going to bore you with them. I've already documented it. It says get started here. So family circle is a active process, as is Bluetooth and many others, which I turn off, but they're active processes when this is off. So I'm bringing that to your attention, okay? Because you're telling me you turn them off, but it's okay that you see them as active processes, yes?
Yes. If system isn't actually transmitting anything, it might still just leave. A lot of times when you see things like where it has this letter D on the end of it, so core brightness D, diagnostic D, core audio D, what it stands for is daemon, D-A-E-M-O-N, and what those are basically listeners. They're things that just hang out in the system in the background listening for something. Again, so this one's Wi-Fi here, or airport D is going to be related to that, is even though Wi-Fi is not active in this screenshot, these things are kind of hanging out in the background just waiting.
Right.
Same thing with core audio D is that way if you started to like play a YouTube video or something, because we're looking at like the network tab here, is instead of you clicking on a video and it having to actually then load the drivers or the software for your speakers, it's just ready to go. That's kind of the purpose of the daemons, is that they're just hanging out, but they're very small, limited processes, but they help speed the computer up by being ready for whenever you need them.
All right, you connected with me via my Apple ID, yes?
Correct, yep.
Okay, just 1 second. So other is 6 seconds. Okay, so it's not showing that I'm screen sharing with you right now. Okay, it's just 6 seconds. All right, so it's not counting.
So
it's not showing
screen
properly.
time isn't, but I mean, like this icon here shows that we've been screen sharing the whole time. So what you're really getting at is that just screen time is not updating correctly.
Right, correct. It's not updating. One, it's not updating correctly after the patch. Two, and which we are not going to talk about anymore because it fixed itself like magic. This whole category that was missing. So screen time is not working. Yes, we agree?
If you actually quit system preferences and relaunch it, does that refresh the cache?
Well, I've done it a couple of times since I've been speaking to you.
Okay, I'm just kind of, we've talked about a lot. I'm just,
there.
Still 6 seconds, cool.
So look, it says 6 seconds here, okay? Other, it says 9 minutes here altogether. I think that's a daily average, 9 minutes. And I'm sure I've been talking to you for more than 9 minutes.
Yeah, we've been screen sharing for like almost 25 minutes at this point.
Okay, so here we go. 9 minutes here and 6 seconds on the other side. Right here, app usage, categories, 6 seconds. Okay, so we have a problem.
So let me ask this: Are you worried that screen time isn't updating?
Well, look, I should be concerned when I have no control of the Mac, and part of the questions that I have for Apple is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all the rest that I told you about are active processes when when I'm not using Wi-Fi. These are active, not all processes that are running in the background, just active. Now there's my network and it's grayed out. Why is that grayed out?
If you say cancel here, yeah. So then if you click the lock here to make changes to this pane, and then now it's not grayed out.
No, it's not grayed out. All right, because it changes all the time. It changes all the time. Okay, so I'm going to leave it for now. That there is not the biggest issue. Okay, let me carry on because we've already talked about Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Okay? Now, Solomon had mentioned, I asked Solomon the question, what would confirm a hack? And he said, in our conversation today, you said custom and and anything custom or something like custom DNS and proxy, right? So my Mac says, this was on March, it says that there's a custom OS. Okay, so I sent him that. Then I sent him, and this is after the patch. This is August the 24th. August 21st was the patch. Okay, it says target current machine is proxy.
So this is related to Safari.
Okay.
Not the Wi-Fi connection.
Mm-hmm.
So
you mean not the network connection?
Correct, exactly.
Okay.
So just because Safari is saying that something is a proxy, there are certain, we use that term in many different places to mean different things. So as far as Safari is concerned, saying something is a proxy, not super worried. If it said that there was a proxy being enabled for the network connection, that might mean something else.
What would that mean? What would that mean, though?
Sure, so I can actually show you. If you go back down to System Preferences and go to Network.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I just want to do something.
And then if you click on Advanced, and then click on Proxies right here. So this is where a lot of times only really like businesses or enterprise systems will have any proxies set up when we're dealing with custom network connections at a business or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
However, and for this conversation, what we've seen many times over the last 5 or 6 years is, as far as malware is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
which to be very clear, most malware is not it's not going to damage anything. Most of the time, it's just trying to create a problem on your machine, so that way you try to seek tech support from a third party, and they just try to take your money. But they really don't have the ability to get a lot of your data. So a lot of times, this SOX proxy box will be checked, and it creates like a fake network problem. But again, right now, nothing's checked, no proxy set up. It looks fine.
Okay. But if network was a proxy, that would be a problem?
It's not necessarily a problem. I mean, sometimes these are here for legitimate reasons. In your case, in most consumer cases, yes, it might indicate that something is changing that setting, but right now it looks fine.
Right now it looks fine. Fantastic. Thank you. So let me go through.
Yeah.
Let me go through what I'm. So I sent him then. It says proxy, and you're telling me Safari. Yes, it says Safari proxy. Then I sent him another, and it says CF network parameters using custom proxy, and that's the safe browsing. Safari is what's CF?
Okay.
What's CF network?
I'm not sure offhand. I'd have to look it up. Oh, okay. That's one of our processes. So looks like it's just a framework that handles changing network configurations. So if something were to, it also handles HTTP, which is how websites are accessed. So that one looks pretty common. So anytime you access a website and it needs to load anything or send an HTTP request, CF network is what would handle sending or receiving that information on a website.
Right, so I see CF network a lot, okay? and it's telling me that...
that would be expected, yeah.
Okay, so CF network and custom proxy is not concerning.
The problem is that even if it were, that was 6 days ago, and the proxy settings aren't enabled right now. So I'm not immediately concerned right this second.
Okay, so like I said, things look like they are. Anyways, no, I'm gonna continue with my story. So that's one proxy, and then I sent a network change DNS's proxy. Your thoughts on that one?
So, who is your internet provider there?
It's a local provider, Rogers.
Okay. Oh, okay, sure. The DNS is just basically like the phone book of the internet. So when you type in apple.com, the DNS translates that to the IP address that the Apple website's located at. So you don't have to memorize all the IP addresses. So a lot of times, actually I'm going to say 100% of the time, most places have more than one DNS server in case one is busy or one goes down. They have a backup. So a lot of times you'll see multiple DNS addresses. In this case, I'm just hypothetically, based on this one message, it could have been that it switched from using one DNS server to another. So I'm looking at the message right below it as well.
See, DNS is proxy.
But you're saying that there was are you in a house or like an apartment complex?
I'm in a apartment.
Okay. Yeah, so what it could have been also is that the DNS can be controlled on a sort of like router-specific thing as well. So if you're in an area where does like everybody in the building share a network? Or like do you have your own router in your apartment?
No, I use a common one for the building.
Okay, yeah. So what it could have been is that the router just changed its IP address that pointed to the DNS, which is totally possible. I mean, depending on traffic at the time or something like that, if you move locations from one router to another, just the IP address changed.
Yeah.
So
Wi-Fi signature changed. Okay, using MT proxy configuration. Okay, so you're saying you're not bothered with any of this, yes? All of this is expected behavior.
None of these. And again, the console also, in certain circumstances, if it really thought that there was a problem, it might have labeled some of these messages as errors or warnings, and it didn't label them any particular way. So I'm not concerned.
So if it says error, you would be concerned.
Yes.
Right, because I got a million of those. I've got a million of them.
Yeah, I mean, because you can change it, because the computer's going to log a ton of stuff.
Yes.
So that's why you can either look at all messages, or in activity, or in console, you can also just filter it by errors and faults.
Okay.
And so, most of the time that one's going to be pretty blank, because there's a lot of stuff that's just expected.
No, I've got millions of errors and faults. I've got millions of them.
The other thing that I normally tell people with errors and faults is that computers are obviously very complex, and so most of the time whenever there's an error, the computer has a fallback or a way to handle it, and that's why, again, not everybody. Truly what it comes down to is everybody's computer is going to have errors and faults at some point, unless it's preventing you from using the computer completely. If something is crashing or the computer is rebooting, there's safeguards and ways built into the machine to either ignore the error or work around the error.
All right, so Apple had said that WebKit and kernel is what they fixed, yes?
Yes, it was, yes.
What else? So if they fixed WebKit and kernel, that means there was a problem with WebKit and kernel, yes?
Yes, I mean, I don't have any more extensive details than what was published publicly.
Right. Okay, so I can document, I get miles of errors and faults, miles of it, which I've already documented. I can document again, not a problem. But I'm going to move on. So finally, August 25th, I found out that my Mac has a proxy infrastructure, and it's the Pegasus spyware.
So this is not the Pegasus spyware.
It's not? Okay.
No. So there is another company, I think if it is Promise is the company.
Okay.
So Promise is a company that builds large-scale external hard drives or servers, and the name of their server is called Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times businesses use it to store, lots of information. They're typically filled with several hard drives. So Pegasus Kit is just an extension to connect to these very large external hard drives.
Why is my Mac connecting to this Pegasus server?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
And not only that, it's the infrastructure of my Mac. It's a proxy infrastructure. Okay, define proxy for me.
So proxy is generally just means anytime that the computer, I guess it's sort of like an alias. So an alias on the Mac is where you sort of have like a bookmark. And proxy is basically a bookmark on the network side. So anytime that it has a DNS server that is a placeholder or any number of things, the proxy is just basically like a network bookmark.
It's an intermediary a server between me and my end party, isn't it?
Yes. Intermediary is a great way to put it.
All right. So that is what I have found out on my Mac. That everything I send is going through a networked computer system. After looking at everything and researching everything, it looks like all data that I'm using and sending and receiving is going through a network system. Okay? Why? I don't know. I'm telling you, I have no control of the Mac. Okay? So why is it? My intermediary is a proxy. My Mac is a proxy infrastructure. The infrastructure is proxy. Why is that?
So it's going to be the answer is that it's going to be difficult for us to answer that because a lot of this also is on the network side too, and we don't control your network.
Okay, but hold on. I don't use any proxy. I don't. But my Mac does.
Well, some of this stuff is not controlled by the computer. I mean, some of this would be based on your network connection.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me my network connection, should it not go directly through the network connection? Why does it have an intermediary between me and my network connection? Why? It says, it's clear, proxy. There's an intermediary, which is Pegasus Kit. Yes, tell me if I'm understanding this correctly, because it's very difficult to get anywhere with speaking to Apple. So I have a proxy, intermediary. I should not have an intermediary. Now,
I mean, everybody has intermediaries.
Everybody has an intermediary. How do I
know?
So,
because,
who
so
would,
I say that because, like, if let's say you go to Apple.com, that when you go to a website or any type of network connection, the computer sends a request from your computer through the router there at your apartment, and that goes to your whoever their internet service provider is, and then it redirects through the internet and makes several stops along the way before it gets to Apple and then comes back to you. So, what I would say at this point is this. If you have security concerns after looking at all of this, or the computer's not acting the way that you want in such a high fashion, there's not going to be a way that AppleCare is going to be able to just simply root through some files and take it out.
right?
So the solution that we can offer from a tech support perspective,
Mm-hmm.
if you have that many concerns,
Mm-hmm.
the ultimate thing that we can do is tell you to erase the computer and reinstall the system.
Right. So
Anything on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
like going through all of these things, we can do this ad nauseum. We can just do this over and over again. But truly, if you have concerns, then that's the ultimate thing that we can do is recommend an erase of the system and reinstall it from scratch.
All right.
But I mean,
That's okay. That's okay. I'll get that done. That's okay. I'll get that done. So you're correct. There's Pegasus. There for Promise. Thank you. And who would be using this Pegasus? Who would be using it?
I mean, these things aren't cheap. I mean, they're all going to be like several $1,000s. So your average consumer typically is not.
Right. So my computer is showing.
These are all going to be.
Hold. I think I should frame the question properly. So definitely, I'm not using anything Pegasus or anything from Promise. So who might be, because Pegasus is showing up on my computer, your guesstimation is that it is from Promise, but you don't know for sure, but you're guessing it's from Promise, right? So I am asking, is that correct?
So if you look at these are not external hard drives.
Right.
These are network attached storage.
Correct.
So what could be happening is that because it could be that somebody in your building has a Pegasus drive, and so when the computer connects to the Wi-Fi network, it's seeing that there might be something to share. Again, that's just hypothetical because you're not going to be able to go door to door and ask everybody if they have a Pegasus hard drive. But these would be something that's attached to the network, so it would show up when you connect to the network and be available there as like a server, basically.
Right, it is a server. So just to clarify, if I go to my building and I say, look, we have this network, it's Rogers. Do you guys use Pegasus? They should be able to tell me, right?
Yes, hypothetically, yeah.
Yeah, the company that we buy our internet from, they should be able to tell us if they're using Pegasus, correct or not?
I would hope so, yes.
Fantastic. So that would be the only two parties that could, if they're using Pegasus, that would justify Pegasus showing up on my Mac, yes?
Or anyone in your building.
But
any other residents that have a Pegasus.
Or anyone in my building. So if someone else in my building has
you're all using the same network.
And we're all using the same network. All right. Well, thank you for that. So let me close this here. So Pegasus Kit is being used. Let me also close this here. Yes, ignore that. You didn't see anything. You see nothing here, my friend. There's no droid here. There's no droid here. So, so here it says that I'm a managed client, MDM client. Okay, no visible network here. No Bluetooth. Your thoughts on that?
The MDM client is related to Spotlight. Anytime you see like an MDM, so not worried about that. Managed client, root. Not actually sending anything. Let me see if I can pull that one up.
No, but it's always sending something. Data is always moving, even when I'm in downtime.
But the managed client process isn't 0 bytes sent, 0 bytes received.
Okay.
No packets or anything.
Right. Okay.
But that process isn't doing anything.
But it's an active process because I set it up to show only active, not anything that's running in the background. Just show me what's active.
Is it active right now?
I don't know if it's active right now. I don't know.
It's tough for me to say from a screenshot. I'm not sure. So if it's active right now, I might be able to look into it.
Okay, so what does managed client mean?
So I wonder if there's an enable here. Can you go to system preferences for me real quick? You click on sharing for me. Okay, fine. If you go back page, go to users and groups.
Yeah, let's talk about users and group. Hold on. Why is this here grayed out?
The computer always requires one admin, which you are.
Okay.
And so you can't uncheck this because then there wouldn't be an admin.
All right. So if I want to change admin to a guest user, I want to change it from this to a guest user. How do I do that?
The guest user cannot become the admin. It is a limited user, and it only exists temporarily when you're logged into it.
The guest user cannot be an admin. So if I want to cancel this,
Correct.
If I want to cancel this one and use another user, is it possible to cancel this? And okay, no, I guess not.
So you can't cancel it necessarily, but you could create like a standard user. But like I said, the computer needs to have an admin user.
Okay.
If you don't have an admin user, then certain parts of it would just become unmanageable. There has to be an admin at all times in some fashion.
Okay. Is it possible? What's the possibility? And then we're going to go back to managed client. What's the possibility of undoing this me as the admin and make a second person the admin?
You could add a second admin user.
Let's do that. How do I do that?
If you just click the plus button at the bottom of that column, and then right at the top where it says new account, change that from standard to admin.
Okay.
And then it.
Oh no, can't. Oh no, create user and then okay, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the admin. Okay, good.
Yep, and then so like when you turn on the computer or if you log out of this user and you're on the login screen, it'll show you both of those admin accounts.
So I cannot remove
and
this.
You could log in as.
And I cannot remove this one, yes?
Yes, you could. However, what I will say is that like right now, all of your screenshots and stuff, anything that's not. Do you have a backup of the computer?
No.
Great. If you delete the current user that's listed as setup, then any user data that's in there would also get deleted.
Okay.
If you logged into CETA, then it would be a blank user account.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's a great explanation. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm going to log this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So now I have me as admin. Okay. So when I sign into the computer, I can use the same password as this admin.
When you just set that up, you didn't create a password for CETA.
I didn't. Yes, I didn't. Which means that. Okay.
So you would click on it and leave the password field blank because there isn't one.
Right. So I just leave it as is, and when I open the computer, I wouldn't have a problem, right? After shutting down.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, good. So is there anything you wanted to see here?
No. I just wanted to see how many users there were.
Okay.
So
what about the
manage client message? I'm not sure. If it's running right now, I might be able to look into it further. But from the screenshot, I'm not entirely sure.
All right.
What that process is.
I'll record it for you. That's okay. I have lots of recordings. And then I told you about the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is off here, but like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth is always an active process.
Yeah, the Bluetooth daemon is the active process.
Right.
Even though Bluetooth is turned off.
Right.
So, yeah, again,
okay.
I'm not worried about it.
Right. And now all processes are restricted. When I try to close them, they do not close. All are restricted. Why is that?
So with macOS, I think it was Big Sur, parts of the system became read-only. So when I started here 9 years ago, the macOS was not as locked down as it is now. And I cannot tell you how many times I would get a call where somebody would go in and start fussing with files deep in the system, and they would pretty much break their own machine because they would fuss with files that didn't need fussed with. And so, over time, more and more things are basically locked down by the system and cannot be changed. So things like Wi-Fi kernel extensions, where how the computer talks to the Wi-Fi hardware on the Mac.
Okay.
Certain things like that are restricted, and that's because
this is real life right here. I understand what you're saying. Yes, understand something has to be restricted. Got it. But all processes, including Safari, every single one, are restricted. Doesn't matter what I do, what I open. Let's go. Let's go to. Yeah, here. There's Safari. Safari is open. Okay, it's restricted as well. Every process is restricted.
To be honest, I don't look at this pane very often. I'm not sure if that's expected or not. It very well could be.
All right, because it is a problem for me, because I see processes here that I'm thinking should not be there. When I try to shut them down, they do not shut down. One such process is, and I know you're going to tell me that it's okay, MDNS responder, that's constantly sending and receiving packets, right, when Wi-Fi is off and the Mac is in downtime. Okay, constant sending and receiving of packets, right? I tried to shut down or to quit MDNS responder and it will not quit. The same with Safari networking. I cannot quit them. All processes, as you can see. Go ahead.
Is the MDM one there right now?
Pardon me?
looking for the MDM one that you were talking about.
MDM, I don't see it now. And I don't see manage client right now, but I see sharing D, which is normal because I'm sharing with you. My thought is sharing D should not be there as an active process when I'm not sharing, when it's on downtime and Wi-Fi. But you're telling me it's okay for to see sharing D if I'm in downtime, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about, we're talking about Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Again, hypothetically, most of that stuff should be here. If you can give me a specific example, of something that's actually happening. Because, if the MDM process that you talked about was here right now, I could double click on it and look at what files were actually doing stuff. And that's, so if you click on any of these, double click on them.
There, here we go. They're sharing.
You can see, if you go to open files and ports, this is where it can tell me what stuff is actually using the launch daemon process, which this one, launch daemon, is just here basically to start up processes when you log into the computer, and this one's pretty cut and dry.
All right. So hold on a second. Let's see this. Users, that's me. I unboxed on Saturday, February the 12th. There's sharing, and it says airdrop. Why does it say airdrop has DB? Airdrop hash DB.
Basically, that's part of the authentication. If someone were to try to send you something via airdrop, again, that one's totally normal. That one's expected to be there.
Okay, so if someone is trying to send me something via airdrop, I will see airdrop, yes?
Yeah, but where it says airdrop hash DB, DB always stands for database.
Yeah. So
that's really just a security thing within airdrop. That's not the airdrop function itself.
All right, if you say so. Because I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Okay, because I'm not using airdrop. There's airdrop is blink.
Right, and that does not indicate that you are. That's just a security thing if you did use airdrop.
All right, so there's airdrop is off, yes? So should it be blinking? Should it be blinking at all, like how this is blinking? See, it's blinking?
Nope, it's grayed out right after it's off.
Huh?
And even if it were on, it would just be a little more solid. It doesn't actually have any animation to it.
So if it was on, it would show how? Solid? Like this?
It would just be darker, yeah.
It would be darker, but the blinking, you see it's blinking right now, that doesn't mean anything? See it's blinking?
The blinking on the left is just you and I screen sharing.
No, that's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about airdrop. It's where my cursor is. It's blinking. Why is it?
I'm not seeing the blink, I guess, on the screen share.
Oh, because it's blinking right now. It keeps blinking all the time. It should be off, but it keeps blinking all the time. So I'm thinking if it's off means off, just like Wi-Fi and sharing and Bluetooth. Off means off. And family sharing. But it's blinking right now, and it shows airdrop in this files port. Anyway, I'm going to close that. So here's what you need me to do for you. You need me to record manage client. Yes?
Not necessarily, because I'm still going to go back to what I said earlier. That if you're worried about the managed client thing, I just looked for it on my machine, and I don't see it. So I'm not sure what is controlling that, but the answer, even if you find it, is going to be the same. That if it's something that's alarming to you, then it's not necessarily something that we can always go in and root out, and that really the ultimate solution is going to be to just wipe the machine if you're that worried about it.
Okay, so forget about me being concerned about anything. Imagine I'm not concerned about anything, okay? All I want to know is it expected behavior for managed client to show as an active process when Wi-Fi is off and Bluetooth is off? And I should not be...
It can be, yes.
It can be. Okay, what does managed client mean? Does it mean managed client? What does it mean?
So it's just a process that means that it could be part of... device management, which typically just means that like a computer has some controls on it from like a business or something like that. Like if you have a work computer, they often use that. But I'm not sure. That's why I would, if it were here, I would double click on it and look, and just I might be able to tell you what app is utilizing it. But otherwise, there are legitimate reasons why it could be there.
All right. Okay. So the legit. I just want to understand. Listen, if once I understand it, and instead of speculating, then I can just eliminate it, and we can move on, right? So,
Sure. Yeah. So anytime you find it, if you double click on it,
yeah,
like any of these things, and go to the open ports and files.
right. So if I go to, let's say, identity service, I go to open port and file. How come it's not showing me anything here? Oh, there. Finally.
There it is. Sometimes it'll take a second to load.
So what am I looking?
100% of these things here are going to be probably expected.
Sure. So what am I looking for? So when I check this here, open ports and files. So right now, with what we already know is I should not be a managed client, but I show managed client and MDM client, right? So you want me, and the explanation for justification of that is it's network with work computers, right?
Correct.
What's the other justification for that?
Mostly it's just going to be if your computer was given to you by a company or a business, and for use. That's going to be almost always the reason that you see that.
Great, thank you for that. So, okay.
So what you would be looking for here is some type of listing for like a profile or something like that was controlling that process or telling it to run. You're just looking for, I'm looking at just file paths basically, to see if it tells me what app might be running that.
All right. So just to clarify, there's only one reason why I should see MDM client and managed client is because it's a network computer, right? Network with work. Yes?
Yes, that's pretty much the only one that I can think of.
That's the only one reason. Well, thank you very much. Because this computer does not network with any work computers.
Sure.
So, if it's not...
So, right now I'm not seeing it, but yeah, if you notice it again, then try to see if what ports and files are open, and that might lead us to what process is handling that, and we can look into it.
Great, thank you for that. So we do have an issue. We have the issue of MDM and managed client. We do have that one because my Mac continues to tell me all the time that there's mobile asset, and I don't know what the hell mobile asset is. It tells me the network is remote service here. Any idea why? And then when I go, look here, I show you in real time. So I go here, and I go to security, and it tells me security and everything else is remote. Security is remote. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Any idea why?
I was looking for mobile. I was looking in our library of what mobile asset he was. Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, it says Apple preference security is remote service. Do you not see my screen?
I do now, yes. I was looking away for a moment.
Hold on. There, it's highlighted. Security is remote.
Okay, so can you double click on it?
Oh, wait.
So if you go to open files and ports.
Yep. What do you want me to look for?
So basically that just shows up because you can see right there at the top that the preference pane, security.pref pane, was open. So purely by you opening up that pane and looking at it, then it needs that process to be open to give you information about what's going on. So because you opened it, that process shows up.
That's fine. The first line is fine.
Yeah.
Got it. But why does it say security is remote service?
So that's just the title of the process that handles things like location services. And so it just has to open those things to tell you that, yes, that box should be checked, or no, those other boxes shouldn't be checked. It's just accessing the information contained in those files.
Are you telling me that where it says security is remote, that is expected behavior?
Yes, in this case, yes. It's just showing you the name of a file on the computer. It's not telling you that it's actually doing anything. It's just when you open up that prep pane, it was just looking for what it needed to be telling you, which is contained in those files.
So what's this private/var folders all? I see private all over the computer. Private/var.
So basically, and now we're kind of getting into some heavier stuff of like how the computer organizes its file system. So private and var are all folders that should be there. If you want more information about what those are, I would just recommend looking it up online, because those are folders that have existed in the Unix file system since the 70s. Those are totally normal.
No problem. And I was asked about proxy. So here's proxy. This morning, no Wi-Fi, and it says call from private, and it says proxy I opened.
So, I mean, the big thing is here is that we're looking at core audio.
Yeah.
And control center. So, again, without being able to click on it and actually look at what processor's accessing that core audio, I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
So you're not sure what the proxy is. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. Here where it says email, because look, I'm only asking you these questions because I have so much problems. Things keep disappearing from my Mac. And there's only one more thing I want to show you. This one here and one more. This one is this morning. Mail, it says use VPN for URL. It's remote email. It's EM remote content URL session. I don't use VPN.
No, I don't think that's saying that you use a VPN. It could have been that the email you were accessing, if it were like you remember which email it was?
Say that again?
Do you remember which email you were accessing at the time?
My email here.
So it could have been that it was just downloading content from another server that was on a VPN itself, and so it needed to route through a VPN. Again, not super worried that it could have just been downloading content from somewhere else that used a VPN.
All right. So
it doesn't necessarily mean that you were using a VPN.
All right, because it's Gmail. All right. So the one last thing I want to talk to you about is hold on. One last thing is right here. So Apple had asked me, engineering had asked me to do some stuff for them to document how I'm using the Mac, and I documented everything for them. And one thing that has continued even after the supposed 12.5.1 is at 11:59 p.m. Okay, I always have downtime on. Okay, downtime is on. So 1 second before midnight. Got that? 1 second before midnight. So I'm in downtime, no Wi-Fi, data is constantly moving in and out of the Mac. Okay. 1 second later, at 12 midnight, every night, every single night, still continuing, downtime turns itself off every night at midnight up till today. After the update, see, everything comes right back up. Okay. Now I was told that it's not expected behavior. Now I have 12.5.1 and it still continues. Okay, it tells me I have 12.5.1. Okay, the behavior still continues. Your thoughts on that?
So I'd have to see if that's something that I'd have to go back and look and see what they had said about it. Whenever we release a software update, especially one that's like just a .1 or something on the end, a lot of times that is only for specific problems. For example, this security thing that we patched. As far as I know, we didn't release any other. There weren't any bug fixes contained in 12.5.1 for things like downtime. It was only for the security thing. So if it were a problem in 12.5, it doesn't surprise me that it's still a problem in 12.5.1.
Right. So it's still a problem. Okay, because
so what I can do is I can reply back to that and let them know that it's still a problem in 12.5.1. But right now, we've already announced the next version of macOS to come out this fall.
Okay.
And so things that need to be fixed are still being worked on, or they're slated to come out with the next update.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something like this with downtime, it might be that we have a patch sort of ready to go, but that it's bundled with the next version of macOS and it was not slated for 12.5.1.
All right.
So I can let them know that it's still a problem, but unless we release like a 12.6 or something like that, then it will probably be something that's slated to be fixed with the next version of macOS.
Okay. Yeah, and I get a lot of things like usage tracking, and I'm thinking Apple is not tracking my usage, is it?
No.
Apple would not track, so why is my usage being tracked?
Well, that would be, there's a process that keeps track of usage for things like downtime and screen time. There has to be a process there that keeps track of all that, and that would be, that's just the name of the process doing it.
Sure. Hold on a minute. Because it's not only usage tracking, but it's tracking my mouse movement, which I've already documented. I don't know if it'll show here today. Now, when I go to any of these processes, it will not show me the content. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. Most of the time it will not. Okay, it does not show me the message here, the content. Security keychain unlock, it will not show me the content. Nothing, it will not. I'm looking for the one where it tracks my mouse because I've already documented it. I can find it for you at another time, but it will not show me content here. Should it show me content?
Not always, no.
Not always. You sure about that?
Some of them are really basic messages and they don't have any details.
All right, here's your MDM client. And here's your XPC proxy. What can you tell from that? What do you need me to...
So if you double click on it, is it not going to give you anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
This was 8:39.
And
immediately I'm seeing that it's from the Core Foundation library, which is something that we've implemented. So I'm not immediately thinking that it's anything from a third party.
Well, I'm thinking it is, only because you guys have already said MDM client means a mobile device management. It's already said manage client. Why divert when MDM client means manage device network or mobile device management, MDM, right? It's clear.
So we have built into the Mac the option to have an MDM, which means that there are probably files there named MDM client.
Doesn't mean it has to be active, but on mine it's active.
So it looks like it might have been active.
Yeah, this is today. This is today.
Hours ago.
Yeah, this is today. This is today. It's right, every day. Every day, just like
but
this.
If you go back to Activity Monitor, is it active right now?
Does it have to be active
And
right
the only
now?
reason I'm asking is because that's going to give me more
Activity
detail.
monitor. Maybe it's not there right now, but I can document it for you. It's there usually it's there. I've documented ad nauseum.
Sure. When you were in system preferences earlier, though, I didn't see any profiles there to say that would indicate that an MDM is active. And so,
But it is active. Hold on. It is active.
Essentially, I'm going to come right back to what I said earlier, though, that, sure, I can look at this.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
I'm not immediately concerned about pretty much anything that has been brought up yet.
Okay.
And so, regardless of what it is that we're looking at, if you're that concerned about it, the MD worker, that's Spotlight, that's fine.
I'm sorry. What's MD worker shared?
So MD worker or anything starts with MD is going to be Spotlight. So like if you were to click on the little magnifying glass up here to search for something, MD worker is a process related to searching a computer for things.
But it's shared.
Yeah, some of it. So again, that's just the title of the file of the process is MD worker shared, and so I'm not sure why it's titled that. That doesn't necessarily indicate that anybody else is sharing that information or has access to it.
Okay, but you don't know that for sure.
Really,
you don't know that for sure, though,
I
right?
mean, if there's one. I mean, we could sit here all day until my shift is over, looking at console.
No. I have specific things that I wanted to look at. MDM client, and okay. So let me conclude. Here's where we're at. I see something called mobile asset all the time. Okay, I see network remote. You're telling me network remote or anything remote, that's expected behavior, yes? So I'm just going to conclude our conversation. Yes. Thank you very much. And mobile asset is expected behavior?
Yes, that one's one of our built-in processes.
Right. All the processes I find belongs to Apple. They're all Apple processes, and Apple have all processes that can network network computers for network computers. But let's focus on the MDM and manage client, and then we also have Pegasus. So I'm going to find out about Pegasus. I'm going to make inquiry locally. I'll do that myself. So these two are the outstanding one. So proxy was no problem for you, right? DNS proxy was no.
Nothing that you showed me with proxy was alarming.
All right. So, can you do me a favor and send me your email in the event I need to email you?
Yeah, I can send an email
yes, please.
that you can reply to that would notify me about the case.
Yes, please. Send me an email where I can respond to you if I need to send you an email. And so here, I'm going to go here. So when you've done, send it to this email address. Hold on. Send it to this, hold on. Right here. Yes? Tell me when you sent it.
Should have just sent.
Okay. There we go. Thank you so much. Howdy, Sita. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So downtime. You want to contact engineering about that and let them know what's happening with downtime?
Yeah, there's already a ticket on it, so I'll just follow up to it and let them know it's still happening.
Great. So downtime is a problem, and then we have other is now 1 minute, and I've been talking to you for quite some time. So other is not showing proper usage of when someone is screen sharing, it does not show proper usage. Yes, it does not document properly.
Sure.
Okay, so we have two big problems there.
Yep.
All right, great, thank you. And so when I have some information or any update, I will let you know. In the meantime, I will wipe the Mac and I'll update you on it.
Sounds good.
Lovely. Thank you, David. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye.